Welcome to one of the great mysteries, the biggest in criminal history, the Zodiac Killer. From 1968 to 1969, the Zodiac Killer murdered at least 5 people and injured others. The Zodiac Killer murdered at least 5 people and injured 2 others in Northern California. This case remains unsolved, and the killer's identity remains a mystery. Join me as we uncover this chilling story once again. All the murders were believed to be committed by Zodiac happened in Northern California, the United States from the late 1960s to the early 1970s. This is a large area with many different locations, from urban to suburban. The first recorded case was on December 20, 1968, when 17-year-old David Faraday and 16-year-old Betty Lou Jensen were shot to death near Lake Herman Road, Benicia, California. They were a young couple sitting in a car when they were attacked with a .22 caliber Calipro pistol. On May 4, 1969, Michael Mazza, 19 years old, and Dallin Farron, 22 years old, were shot at Blue Rock Spring Park, Vallejo, California. Michael Mazza was lucky to survive and provided information to the police, while Darlene Farron was killed. The weapon was a 9mm pistol. On September 22, 1969, 20-year-old Brian Hartnell and 22-year-old Cecilia Shepard were stabbed at Lexington, SA, Napa County, California. Brian Hartnell survived, but Cecilia Shepard died later. This was the only case in which Zodiac used a knife as the weapon. On October 11, 1969, 29 years old, a taxi driver was shot to death in Presidio Heights, San Francisco, California. This was the only case that happened in the city, and the weapon was a pistol. What made Zodiac famous was not only the murders, but also the letters he sent to newspapers and the police. In these letters, he claimed to be the killer and provided details about the crimes that only the perpetrator would know. He also used a crosshair symbol as his signature. In addition, Zodiac also sent ciphers, some of which have been decoded, revealing provocative. There were a total of 4 ciphers, with Z408 being decoded in 1969. Messages and clues about his identity, revealing the message, "I like killing people because it's so much fun." The Z340 cipher was decoded in 2020, but its contents were not widely disclosed. Z13 has not been decoded. Z32 has not been decoded. In a letter in 1974, Zodiac claimed to have killed 37 people, including Sherry Jo Bates, who was murdered in Riverside, California in 1966. Only 5 murders have been officially confirmed to be committed by him. The police conducted a large-scale investigation, with several well-known detectives such as Detective Unveiled. Due to the limitations of technology at the time, much of the evidence could not be thoroughly analyzed. One of the reasons Zodiac was never caught may be that he was a careful killer who left little evidence and frequently changed his methods of attack. Over the years, many suspects have been named, but none have been confirmed as Zodiac. The main suspect named by authorities was Alex Allen, a former elementary school teacher and convicted sex. However, there was not enough evidence to charge him, and he died in 1992. There were also other suspects, such as Gary Francis Post, but there was no conclusive evidence. The Zodiac case has become a source of inspiration for many cultural works. One of the most notable works is the book Zodiac by Robert Graysmith, published it in 1986, and the 2007 film Zodiac, directed by David Fincher, and starring Jake Gyllenhaal, Robert Downey, Jr.B., and Mark Ruffalo. The case also inspired the 1971 film Dirty Harry, starring Clint Eastwood. To this day, the case remains unsolved. Authorities continue to receive information from the public. A group named the Casebreakers claimed to have identified the Zodiac as Gary Francis Portia, but the police stated that this claim has no basis. But the case is still under investigation, and there is hope that one day the killer will be caught. The Zodiac Killer remains a major mystery, a haunting story, driving us to keep searching for answers. Will we ever truly know his real identity, or will this mystery forever remain a part of criminal history?